Cleaning Nation. This is part 1 in a 2-part episode. Stay tuned for the next episode for part 2. Enjoy.
Hey, Cleaning Nation. Mike Campion here with the amazing Megan Amaru. We've been with this lady so long. When we met her, she was just Megan Posda, but she's upgraded. She's got a fancy new husband now and looks like a fan. Oh, so I was working out this morning. My wedding ring is off, so I feel like a jerk. I was with my wife, though. We work out together. So Megan's the only one proud of her spouse on this call. Anyway, she is, I would say, one of the unsung heroes in our space. If you've listened to a lot of the podcast, certainly closely, you might have heard us casually kind of throw her name out with no context in our space for clients. Megan's a bigger part. I don't think we have a single vendor, not that you're a vendor, but a single person that we recommend in our space at all other than Megan, like just because things change and whatever. So who Megan is she's with ADP. She might get pissed at me, but I'm just gonna call it like it is. I've used ADP. It's a payroll company. I don't know, a decade, and they're fine. Like they're just as good as any others we've used. I haven't used a ton of others, but other people have. They're fine. Like they're a fine company. Nothing wrong with them. That's who we use. I haven't used a ton of others, so I can't be like, they're way better. I'm sure Megan has a different thought, but from my perspective, I just kind of put them in the bucket of big and not big. We don't want not big, right? A lot of times I'm going to ask Megan about this, but a lot of times your accountant will be like, oh, we do payroll. But the way I see that, there's one of two ways they're doing it. One, they're white labeling a company like ADP, and it's like, well, then just go directly through ADP. What are we doing with the middleman? Or two, they're doing it themselves, which I really don't recommend because God forbid something happens to Megan. She, flips everyone off and leaves, and, her and her husband moved to, Thailand. All the clients will be fine. Everything just moves on and nothing's a problem. But if my accountant does that, the way taxes work is, there's 941s, 945s, there's money that's pulled from payroll that they're holding in their account up to 90 days. There's quarterly stuff. And depending on your payroll, there could be thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in there. And if that person dies or leaves or gets squirrely, the government ain't going to be like, oh, well, we're so sorry. We'll go chase them to Thailand. They're like, you owe us $18,000 plus fees, plus interests, plus penalties. But my accountant, they don't give no craps about your accountant. That's just it. Same thing if they make a mistake, right? If they make an honest mistake, which is reasonable, all those fees and fines, they should pay, just from a moral standpoint. Will they? I don't know. Like, depends on how much money they have and how many mistakes they made and what your contract says. Like, I'm not holding my breath. That's for god dang sure. But with larger companies, ADP included, I don't know what revenue is for ADP, but I'm sure in the hundreds of millions, if not billions. They're not worried about my $12,000 fees, and then just they're like, yeah, we'll just write a check. Yeah, you don't have to fight it. So all that to say, I got off on a little tangent slash rant. Or when we started, Megan's like, I get off on tangents. You gotta keep me focused. And I'm like, done. I will be and then now I'm clearly unable to keep myself focused. So long story short, the reason we love Megan is not because she's with ADP, which is a solid company, but any big company that you trust can, if they make a mistake, they'll write you a check, and they can, and they're not going to, they're a huge company. They're not going to run off or do anything squirrely. I see them all as fine. Pick the one you like. Megan, however, is a completely different kettle of fish. The reason we recommend her specifically is, sincerely, and by the way, it's not like Megan's paying me for this. I think she sends us money if we send enough clients, but I promise you that is not the point of this. She's the only vendor because we not recommend, but we introduce lots of people. Like, hey, you need this solution. We've had clients that have used that, and we get, if we get a bunch of bad reviews, we stop introducing them, and generally get over. Generally good reviews, and we continue introducing. Megan is, I can say, and we've worked, again, I don't know how long you've been married, but I don't know if you're dating. I think you might have been dating. We didn't talk about it, but I know you were single when we first started working together. Now you're very married you probably had an anniversary by now. So anyway, we've been working with Megan for years is the short version of that story. And literally she's the only vendor or relationship we've had where we recommended lots of clients to, and not even one. I don't think we've even had an average. If I could be honest, Megan only does the United States. We have some Canadian people, and she'll recommend to Canadian counterparts.
Partner.
And we've never gotten
she's great.
We've never got a bad review, but we've got an average. Like, she's fine. Megan's the only one. Yeah, again,
wow.
not
it makes
angry.
me feel a little good that I get great reviews.
Yeah,
but
Megan only gets like, oh my gosh.
She's not me. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've never had a complaint that I'm aware of. But anyway, all that to say, she's pretty unique. So, and if you guys know, we've done hundreds of, you haven't heard a vendor on ever. And my God, constantly getting emails. I'm like, you should know this person and they'd be a great guest. And I don't even respond. We invited Megan on because our people god dang love her. So that's the Megan story. Let's talk more payroll. And then I promise we're going to let Megan talk because she's much smarter than I, but I wanted to set the context properly. The big mistake I see is two big fat mistakes. People don't hire because they're afraid of the legal part. Like, I don't know, like, or they won't go W-2 because they think it's too expensive, or they don't understand. They're afraid they're going to break a law. Just like we talked about, you get some sort of fine. And usually I'm like, hey, we got to work through our fears and go. It's a good fear. Like, you do not want to get sideways with the sales tax people, and you don't want to get sideways with the payroll. You think the IRS is bad? Fool around with goddamn payroll and see how that works out for you. They will shut your crap down. So I don't say it's a good fear, but it's a reasonable fear, an understandable fear. So the first mistake people make is they just don't hire. They think it's this big thing and they come to us like, I don't know, I'm just afraid to hire. We introduce them to Megan, like, oh, I'll just pay them and then they do all of it. Like, I don't have to worry about any of that crap, like the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. And if they don't do it, they have obviously the employee has to fill out their crap, but they'll even make sure the employee, like, they'll do all that crap that's scary. They'll just handle. It's like, yeah. And then they're like, well, I couldn't possibly afford it. And it's like, it's like $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. Like, it ain't nothing, but good Lord, you get one payroll. And again, depends on how many, you get a lot of employee, there's obviously variables, but it's, people think it's just a ton. And for the most, it's just hundreds of dollars. Right. And you get one thing wrong. It's a $9,000, taxes, interest, penalties, late fees, blah, blah, blah. Like, it paid for your payroll for 3 years or whatever the case may be. So mistake one, I'm too afraid to hire because I'm afraid I'll run afoul of the law. Good mistake. Hire a goddamn expert. Mistake two, I can't afford it. Yeah, you can. It's not, it's not free. And I'm not talking Megan's, right? It's all the same. I want to say the same, but it's not like some are $7,000 a month and some are $80. Like, they're all pretty reasonably
relatively the same.
Yeah, for what you're getting, like, are you out of your goddamn mind? It'd be like, I don't want, liability insurance. It's $2,000 a year or whatever the case is. I can't afford that. Like, I guess, sure, until you need it. And then you pretty goddamn wish you would have afforded it. Yeah. And then the third piece, which makes me crazy, and this is a very small minority, but I just want to scream at you for 1 second, is I'll just do it myself, which is, are you out of your goddamn mind? Like, the only thing I can think a worse use of your time than cleaning would be to do your own payroll. And when I say payroll, I don't mean, you do have to have your accountant ideally translate, here's the hours that we have into, I'm guessing ADP has a software, like whatever format they need to be like, oh, I can process, the information they need to process payroll. So that needs to be done ideally by your accountant, if you have to. But the physical, this goes to, this is the withholding, this is the unemployment tax, this is your state thing. You doing that is goddamn insane. Like, you're going to make one mistake and it takes hours to process. It's just the dumbest thing you could ever do. So
yeah, because rates change all the time and you'll get a letter in the mail and so people don't even see it.
We're not
they're paying the wrong amount. And then either they get money back because they're paying too much, which is not good for cash flow. And then a lot of times they're not paying enough and then they owe money and it's just a mess.
It's a mess. So all that to say, please, please, please don't let fear of payroll being too expensive, fear of something getting wrong. Don't let that stop you from hiring W-2s. And I'm not saying, from hiring at all or hiring W-2s, just pay a payroll company, find a good one. Again, Megan is awesome. We'll include her information with the show notes so you can just reach out if you need. And she's pretty cool. Two things are great about what I want you to do that Megan will do automatically for you. But this is what you should negotiate if you talk to someone else. And then I'm going to ask Megan some specific questions about what she sees as biggest. So those are my biggest mistakes when it comes to payroll, but they're a little more global. Megan can probably give you a little more specific. So we'll get into that. But the last thing is when you talk to Megan or any other payroll company, one, just make sure they're treating you fair on price. Nice thing about Megan is we send her a lot of business. So I think she does either some combination of giving more services for regular prices or, she's going to treat you fair. Again, we've been working with her long enough. I think all of the clients that we give her are more valuable than extra $82 you might be able to make off of you or whatever.
For sure. Yes.
So there's that. But if you don't use Megan, just make sure they're treating you fair, get a couple bids. Even if you do use Megan, get bids. She's, competitive. And you're not looking for the cheapest, you're looking for the best value, right? Like, I'm going to get good value. They're going to take care of me. It's not, if one's 283 and one's 324, but the 324 is amazing. Do that. But if one's 900, which it won't be, one's 200, well, then that's a different story entirely. So obviously be fair on price. If you use Megan, you tell them you're with us, you'll be fine.
Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge. And we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Second thing is we coach, so important. Pay twice a month, not weekly, not every other week. So for those of you out there on the weekly, my employees need their paycheck weekly. Right. They're raising their hand saying, I am the wrong employee for you. If I don't get this $281, I'm going to be homeless because I'm late already. I've got a bunch of late fees. It's my ninth time I miss it. I'm going to blame you squarely and bring a massive amount of drama into your life. So when they say I need to be paid every week, they're raising their hand and going, I've got a lot of drama and I'd like to bring that into your business. And the right answer is no, thank you. So be clear on that. The most common is every other week. The problem with that is you get every 3 months, there's a third goddamn payroll and your cost of goods shoots up and it's wildly frustrating. So and this is selfishly the reason I use Megan, aside from people loving her, is everyone else is going to try and fight you. And I don't know why, maybe Megan definitely can answer. They always want to do every other week. I don't know why, maybe they make more money, maybe just I have no idea. Megan will tell you, but they fight you on it and they act like it's impossible or they can't do it. And then you have to scrap. And it's like, why are we doing this? Like, I'm paying you, just do it the way I want you to do it. Fight them on that. It is really important that you have 2 payrolls a month. It just, if you're not doing your books, I guess do whatever you want. But when you have a clean set of books, you know your cost of goods sold, it really is important to do 2 payrolls a month, not every other week. So you get that third payroll every third month. Okay. That's all the ranting and preaching I've got. We're going to turn it over to the smart person on the call. First and foremost, Megan, I've never asked you this in all the years we've worked together. Why do other companies freak out about the goddamn 2 times a month as opposed to every? Why do they make it like you're asking for a kidney?
No, I don't really understand. We call it semi-monthly. So like if I talk to you and I'm saying like, oh, you want to be semi-monthly, some people get confused. You say 2 times a month. I just want to be clear. We call it semi-monthly. But yeah, like whether you want to do the 5th of the month and the 15th or whatever 2 days you want to do, we're completely okay with that. Honestly, I think a lot of people push back just because it's not common really for like people to do weekly or bi-weekly. I'm sorry. It is common to do weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. Semi-monthly isn't, like a lot of companies don't even offer that. I'm not really sure why. I completely understand the reason why you do it and your reasons that you just said. I think a lot of people, the only kickback and like feedback I get from not wanting to do semi-monthly is just they never know if the 15th is going to be on a Monday or a Tuesday. But that's really the only like caveat I would say, which really isn't that big of a deal. But I always like whenever I hear Grow My Cleaning Company, I'm like, Mike is going to put you in the right direction. You're doing semi-monthly. Don't argue with me. And I make sure that it happens. So I don't really understand why people are so scared to do semi-monthly. So
I would have sworn there's some industry thing that we needed to know about, but if they fight you, tell them, hey, I'm paying you. Oh, and by the way, just from a number standpoint, if you process payroll weekly, that's 50. So all those numbers I gave you just go up. The more payrolls you do, I'm sure people are going to charge you more.
To
so
process weekly, it is more expensive. And I think a lot of reps that are like in my position, a lot of them get paid based on like their commission is based on like they multiply the amount by like how many weeks in a year. And obviously if you're multiplying by 52, they get paid more. But if you're only doing 24 weeks in a year, you're getting paid less. I don't really look in it. Like, obviously, that's my job. I make commission. But at the end of the day, it's more about just helping the business owner, saving them money. So then they obviously are happy with my services and want to like shout my name from the rooftop, just like you do, of course, and bring me more of their friends and their family. And then I can also help them. So it just makes more sense to help them save money, push them towards something that's going to be more affordable, and it makes more sense for your company. But yeah, I think that's the reason a lot of people like that are reps like myself, they know that they're getting paid less. They're like, no, you should do weekly. You should do weekly. And I'm like, whatever Mike tells you, do that.
So one of the other things I love about my friend Megan, like I said, I've got to introduce her to my wife. Whatever Mike says, just do that. I'm just having Megan follow me around in the world.
That far. I'm a wife as well, and
yeah, that's true. Megan's like, nope, I'm out. I'll sell you out, dude. I'm like, yeah. I probably had it coming. So yeah, just from a business standpoint, obviously it costs money to produce payroll, but it still costs time. Like if you're doing it yourself, obviously that's the most amount of time. That's
money.
So 52 times a year for your own payroll. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Every other week is still 26. The way we coach is 24. So it still saves you 2 payrolls, the time, the money. And even if you're paying, ADP or someone else to do it, your accountant or you still have, you guys know it's still a pain in the butt to get payroll ready, right? So would you like to do that 52 times a year? Great. Go weekly. Would you like to do it 24 times a year? Do it every other week. 26 times a year? Do it every other week. If you do it twice a month, it's only 24. So saving I love anything you can do once and it saves you time and money forever. Like that's why I like recurring revenue. You can sell it once and you just get paid every month forever. When you set your payroll up right, it's the most effective, efficient way to do it. You don't have to keep setting it up that way. Just set up properly. So it's like do a little extra, not even extra work, just do different work. Just do it properly and it'll save time. Okay. So what's the biggest, we send you so many clients, what's the biggest question they have that they're just confused? You're like, oh my gosh, I have got to sort you out. You were thinking X and it is most clearly Y. Or what's the biggest just confusion or question our clients have in the cleaning space that you like sorting them out on and giving some value?
I think it's overall, they're just really trying to wear all of the hats possible. They want to be the recruiter. They want to run the payroll. They want to handle the taxes. And it's not even that they want to, it's more of like, that they feel like they're the business owner, so they need to. So they're trying to do all these different things. They're trying to run background checks. They're trying to get the workers' comp set up. They're trying to do all these things. And I'm like, we're a one-stop shop. And like, even though I sell payroll, I've been with the company for 5 years in the same business unit, aka small business companies. So 1 employee companies all the way up to like 50 plus. And with that, like I just help them streamline everything. So not only their payroll, but also the taxes. We handle all taxes and we take full liability for your entire company. Like you were saying before, why pay a small mom and pop? Like I'm all about supporting small businesses, obviously. So a small mom and pop accounting firm. Okay, sounds good. But they might be using QuickBooks and doing it manually themselves. And then if something were to happen where they had like a hiccup and they forgot to pay your quarterly filings on the day that they're due, and then all of a sudden you have I'm making up a number, $5,000 fine for paying it late. I don't know the number, so don't quote me on that. Because it varies, but like then that tax, do you think that small mom and pop that's like trying to make ends like meet, are gonna be able to pay that $5,000 fine? Oh, no problem, it's my fault, I'll just pay that $5,000. No, they're gonna try to probably twist it. And again, I'm not sure, I don't know who your accountant is, but they'll probably try to twist it and somehow try to make it your fault, and then you'll be owing that $5,000 fine. With ADP,
well, you're gonna owe it whether you're going to owe it either way. So whether you can arm wrestle them to pay it or not arm wrestle them to pay
exactly.
it. But the government's coming after you. Like you owe the money. Whether who pays it is the debate between you and they, which you'll probably lose, especially without the money. But just to be clear, at no point, and I think even with ADP, I don't think legally we could be like, oh, it's ADP's fault. The government's still going to come after us. It's just the likelihood ADP, if they're wrong, is going to be
we take full liability.
100%. Yeah, whereas exactly, you're a little guy. So just to be clear, because she said, who's going to owe it? I'm like, you owe it. Whether ADP makes a mistake or you make a mistake, your accountant, you owe the money. But it's just, who do I want to fight? A big company that $5,000 is nothing to, or a small mom and pop is like, well, hold on, and you didn't do, and blah, blah, blah. ADP is just like, listen, it's surrounding air for us.
Exactly. And so trying to do the taxes. Like I said, we take full liability. They're trying to hire. We partner with ZipRecruiter, and I'll get into that. Like once you set a meeting with me, I show a whole demo of how to run a payroll, what the platform looks like, how to use all our HR features. Like I normally block out an hour because I'll go in depth, and if you need it to be quick, I can be quick. But at the end of the day, I like to show you everything you're getting before you actually say, yeah, I want to move forward, because I just like to go into the details, and I'm a visual learner, and I like to think kind of everybody is. So if I'm talking your ear off on the phone about, yeah, we do this, this, and this, you rather see the actual demo of it.
Let me jump in because I got a comment and a question, a wildly unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because you're awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge, and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.